Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today as we introduce Willy Adames into the Giants organization. First, I want to welcome Willie's parent, Romulo and Zoeida, his sister, Nisali, his trainer, Angel Gonzalez, his agent, Gio Rodriguez, his best friend, Elias Torres, his godfather, Juan Collado, also Giants CEO Larry Baer, members of the Giants ownership group that are here to welcome Willy Adames. Buenos días a todos y gracias por acompañarnos hoy mientras hacemos la presentación oficial de Willy Adames a la organización de los Gigantes. Primero quiero darle la bienvenida a los papás de Willy, Rómulo y Zobeida, su hermana Nisali, su entrenador Ángel González, su agente Gio Rodríguez, su mejor amigo Elías Torres, su padrino Juan Collado, a Larry Baer, director ejecutivo de los Gigantes y grupo de dueños que están presentes hoy. Joining us today in the dais is President of Baseball Operations Buster Posey, General Manager Zach Minassian, Giants Manager Bob Melvin, and our new shortstop Willy Adames. Today's program will feature opening remarks from Buster and Willie, a jersey presentation and photo opportunity, and then we'll get into questions. So, Buster.
All right, thanks. Thanks, everyone. What a great day for San Francisco Giants baseball. I was anxious to get up here. We had the winter meetings, and I was ready to be up here a couple of days sooner. But I just want to say, I think it goes without saying how excited we are for Willie to be a part of the Giants for the next 7 years. Tremendous defender, tremendous offensive player. But I've said it over and over again, we have all heard just about the person and how great a person this is. I think Craig Counsell, I read, said that he's a unique connector of people. And that really struck me because I think to win championships, you have to have personalities like Willie that they're able to identify with everybody in the clubhouse. And that's not just players. I heard from multiple people that Willie treats everybody with the utmost respect. He plays with energy, he plays with joy, and I know that our fans are going to just be thrilled to watch him compete on a daily basis. So I want to thank ownership for helping us get this done as well, and their commitment to put a great team on the field. Gio, thank you for your work in helping us get this done. It's great to see your family here today as well, and look forward to getting to know you guys over the years. So I'll turn it over to Willie.
Yeah, thank you, Buster. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really happy, so excited for this opportunity. Obviously, there is no words to describe my feeling right now, and to be here in this city, beautiful city. I'm just so happy to be here, happy to, go out there on the field and, give my 100% every day and, play for Bob. I mean, everybody talks so good about him. I'm so excited about that, and I just wanted to take the ownership and you, Buster, for making it happen, Zach. It's just, a dream come true for me, and like I said, I'm thrilled to be here, man. I'm so excited, and hopefully we can win a few championships like you did, and that's one of the main reasons I'm here, and I'm so excited, and thank you everybody for being here today.
That's great. That's great. All right, let's get the jersey photos. You guys can hold this corner up, a couple pictures.
We're a little nervous about this, so.
Yeah, am I supposed to put it on you?
I don't know.
It's a good fit.
No, it looks amazing.
Right.
All right, we'll open up for questions. Maverick and Mariana have microphones, so please raise your hand.
Hey, Willie. Susan Slusser from the San Francisco Chronicle. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What were your impressions of Buster when you first started talking to the Giants, and how much did kind of getting a sense of what he wants to do here influence your decision?
I think that was the biggest reason that I'm here. Obviously, what he accomplished here as a player was such a dream, and I was growing up when I was watching that, but it was such a great run. Those championships were amazing, and for me, it was just like it looked like they had a family here. Like the group of guys they had was such an amazing group. It looks like, and I want to build something like that while I'm here. So I think he's gonna bring the right guys to the clubhouse, and then it's gonna be up to us to do what they did as a player. But I'm really excited just to be the guy here for him, and just to try to help him to create that winning culture here again. And I'm excited for Bob just to play for him every day. And like I say, I think they're gonna build the right team here and the right culture. So I'm really excited about that.
Hi, Willie. Hi, Willie. Sam Lubman, 95.7 The Game. Obviously, I'm sure when Buster was making the pitch, he was talking about, the current state of the team right now, but you're going to be here for 7 years. So when making the pitch about the future of this ball club, what about the future where this club's going was appealing enough to you to want to be here for the next 7 years?
Yeah, I mean, they have a really talented young group of guys that I watched last year, and I think that they could be superstars here. And obviously, he's not gonna be done bringing guys here that can help us win. And I think with the talent that they have here in the system, we can accomplish really special things. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really thrilled with the guys that they have, the young guys that they have. I mean, I think they're gonna be superstars, and I want to be part of that.
Justice.
Hey, Willie, Justice De Los Santos, San Jose Mercury News. Welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you.
Obviously, one of your former teammates in Milwaukee, Corbin Burns, is a lucrative free agent right now. Have you had any communication with him since joining the organization? What would be your pitch to join the organization?
Well, I haven't talked to him, but I would definitely give him a call, after today. I mean, obviously, you always want a guy like him, and you're always going to have guys that are going to compete out there for you, and having a guy like that, it will be such an amazing addition. But that's something that is not in my hands, and obviously there's a lot of work to do for that. But I will give him a call definitely later.
Hey, Willie, congratulations. Brian Murphy from KNBR, the Giants flagship. It's now looked at by the fans and the media that you and Matt Chapman are sort of the guys. You're on the left side of the infield. Can you speak to a relationship? Have you known each other? Did you talk? Do you see each other as leaders of this club?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I talked to him for the last few days. We've been talking a lot, and played against him. It's always great because he's a competitor. He's always go out there and compete and give his 100%. And he's he looks like a leader. I never played with him, but I'm really excited to play along his side and pick up his brain and just learn from him and try to help each other. And I think we could lead this young group of guys to be a professional, to be a great guy in the clubhouse, and just to go out there and compete every day. And if you have guys like that in the clubhouse, you're gonna be winning for sure.
Willie, what have your impressions been of the city and the ballpark over the years? How do you like this as a place to play?
Yeah, I mean, the ballpark is so beautiful. It's such an amazing ballpark, and obviously every time we come here, we enjoy coming here. This city is such a diverse city and such a big city, and I really liked how it's been looking for the last year or so, and I think that's one of the reasons that I wanted to come here, because it looks like it's going back to what it was, and I'm really excited about that. I think we could build something here, something special that people can come start coming back, and I'm excited about that.
Manolo.
¿Qué tal, Willy? Bienvenido. Manolo Hernández Duén, Béisbol por Gotas. Willy, in Buster Posey's description, he not only, feel happy about your talent as a player, defensively and offensively, but also because you are a very good person, a very good clubhouse guy. We can notice that because the wonderful family surrounding you right here today. Is this something you're very especially proud of? And how important is this to be for a professional athlete to also be a very good human being?
I think for me that comes first, it comes first to be a great human being. I mean, I got to thank my parents for that. They raised me the right way, to try to treat everybody the same. It doesn't matter what you do. And I think that's something that I'm really proud of, just to be the same guy every day, to be kind, just to, give love back to people because, there's a lot of hate out there and I don't really like that. So I'm just trying to be genuine, just try to, be a great person. And for me, just being a great human being, good things are going to come to you and to your family and to your people that are around you. So that's who, I want to be and something that I want to be remembered of. It's just being a great human being and just having a good heart.
Hey, Willie, John Shea, San Francisco Chronicle. For fans who might not know a lot about you, what kind of player, if you, in your words, are you, and what do you give every day in terms of effort and accomplishment?
Well, I would say I'm just a competitor, man. I love winning. I hate losing, obviously. And I'm just gonna, be the same guy every day. I'm gonna go out there and try to be better every day, and just to work to help, my teammates, my team to win, and just to be better, man. I feel like every year you can learn and be better for the next year. You can prepare, and that's what like I told Buster, I'm just gonna go out there every day and give you my 100%. I'm gonna try to be as consistent as he gets, and just try to be better, and just try to work to try to help the team to win every day.
Willie, obviously, prior to you, the largest contract in franchise history belonged to the guy sitting to your right. Did that come up in conversation, or when did you come to the realization that you were eclipsing his record?
I didn't know until it was done. I was like, wow. That was kind of crazy to be, because obviously Buster is a Hall of Famer, and I don't even know what to tell you, man. I don't even want to say the wrong words over here, and then I get fired the next day. I just signed the contract.
Janie?
Hola, Willie. Felicidades. Asociada, sí. When Buster just shared that Craig Counsell called you a connector of people, I know you touched on it a little bit with Manolo, but how did you develop those skills of bringing people together, and what does that compliment mean to you, as right along with your baseball skills, but that you bring people together?
I feel like obviously being bilingual, that helps a lot, and I think that's I got to give it to, like, a lot of people, everybody has a vibe, everybody has energy, and I think when you have a good energy, you're gonna bring the people, so they're gonna come to you and just to try to feed up from that good energy. And I think that's something that I have. Thank God for that. And it's not something that I work for that, but I think that just come naturally. And like I say earlier, I just try to treat everybody right and try to help everybody to be better. And I think that's why Counsell said that. I have a lot of respect and love for him, and I think that's why he said that.
Who was an example of that for you as you were growing up? I know you talked about your family, but was there a baseball player who was that example for you?
My idol was Derek Jeter, so I think everybody knows that name, and the legacy that he left behind after he retired, and everybody just talk about the respect that they have for him, and that's something that I'm I have a lot of pride of. I want, when I retire, I want people to remember me as, obviously as a great human being, but as a respected guy, because I treat everybody the right way.
Murph.
Once again, Willie, hi. You're from the Dominican Republic. I want to know the role it plays in who you are, how proud of it you are. Also, coming to a franchise where Juan Marichal is a statue of him out there, the Dominican dandy. I don't know if you've ever met him or talked to him. And currently on the roster, I think Camilo Doval from the Dominican. But just how important it is to you, the connection to any Dominicans on the Giants, and have you ever met Juan Marichal?
Yeah, I haven't met him. I haven't had the opportunity to meet that, that legend. He's obviously an icon for our country and for this city. And just to have a guy like him being connected to the Giant, I think it's such a great, feeling for me. And just, having a guy like him, I mean, obviously having a statue here and having his number retired. And I think that's such a special thing for us as Dominican and something that I'm proud of as a Dominican. So for me, it's just an honor to play in the team that he played for, and, just to represent the country here for this organization and the organization that he played for.
Willie, it sounds like you're pretty good friends with Matt Duffy. Did you talk to him about his
That's
time
my
in
guy.
San Francisco at all?
Yeah, that's my guy. He loved this city. He's, he always talked good about this city, and he's my guy. I call him Flacco because he's not too jack, if you know. But I love that guy. He always say great things about this city, So I'm probably gonna give him a call and tell him that he has to recommend some places here.
And you played in 161 last year. How important is it to play 162? Is that something that you kind of have on your radar?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, I want to be out there every day. I want to play every day. That's something that I'm really hard-headed for, because, nowadays everybody is like, oh, you got to get a day off. And I'm like, I'm not here to take days off. So I had a hard time last year with Murphy, because, I was like, I'm not getting off the field. So I want to let Bob know that I'm going to be playing every day if he lets me.
Willie, congratulations. Stephen Langford, KCBS Radio. You said last offseason you went back to the Dominican, got something in your swing. How rewarding was it for you to put that work in, pinpoint an issue, work on it, and then have the season that you had last year? Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously, when you work hard for something that you want and then you accomplish it, it's such an amazing feeling. And, I got my guy here. We work the whole off season every day just to try to fix that little thing that was, causing, having a hole in my swing. And I think we still, we just started working like a month ago again, just to try to be better for this year and try to, obviously to put up better numbers. And I'm going to continue. Like I said earlier, every year you learn something. Every year you have something to work on for the next year. And that's what we're doing right now.
How close to you are? Do you have a lot of friends on this team? Do you have any friends on this team? And how good could this team be? You mentioned the word superstars. What do you mean by that? Who are you referring to?
Well, obviously you got Webby, you got Chappie, you got Tyler at second base now. I think those guys are great. You got Elio Ramos, Lee. I think he's going to be a superstar. And like the young talent, a lot of good arms in the bullpen. I think guys like that, like the young guys, when they learn the game, when they learn, when they get a lot of more experience and they get more mature, they're gonna, take the next step to be, a superstar. And when I mean a superstar, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're gonna be 10-time All-Star. It's just like being out there every day competing and just being consistent every day with that, mentality of like, we're gonna win tonight, we're gonna be better tomorrow, we're gonna be better today after every at-bat. And I think for me that defines a superstar. It's just like how hard you work to be better and how much work you put in to be better. And that's what I mean about being a superstar.
Manolo.
And, Bob, this one is for you. Obviously last year, your first year as the Giants manager, one of the spots that, was not so easy was shortstop. You had Brandon Crawford. The Giants had Brandon Crawford for so many years. but last year was like kind of a hole there. Now you have one of the best, both offensively and defensively. Could you talk a little bit about the meaning of having Willy Adames in your team for next year?
Yeah, well, it's not a problem now. I mean, and this is a guy that, I mean, look, every team wants a Willy Adames on their team, and I think the thing that strikes me the most is when I'd watch him play a couple times a year on the other side was, you know, he never looked like he had a bad day. It always looked like every day was opening day to him, and you know, that enthusiasm when your best players are like that. Matt Chapman's like that too. You know, it's easy for everybody to have to fall in and play in that type of style. It's easier said than done, but really for me, that's the thing that struck me the most is how much he loves playing baseball. On top of that, you look at the numbers, and now you're hearing all the narratives from other people that have been around him about what a connector he is in the clubhouse and how good he is for the city. And you know, now he's got a home that he knows is going to be here for quite some time, and he's going to be absolutely embraced here by the fan base. So there's just a ton of things to love about him, and that's before you talk about 112 RBIs and 161 games, and you know, just a complete player. So we're really lucky to have him.
Thank you, Bob.
We're going to take a couple of more questions, and before you start, I just want to acknowledge that we have two of our Giants broadcasters, Dave Fleming, Dwayne Kuiper, and his brother Glenn. Also, I want to acknowledge that we have quite a few of our front office staff who's standing in the back, just especially to welcome you, Willie.
Thank you, thank you.
My question's for Buster here. Buster, you've spoken in the past about how during the free agency process, sometimes, you know, an uneasy perception about the city of San Francisco would pop up, and that was just kind of a reality you had to deal with. With this signing, you know, that today being official, how far do you think that goes in terms of kind of changing that perception, in terms of the perception of the city and the perception of this organization's ability to bring in free agents?
Well, I guess it remains to be seen, but I think it goes a long ways. You've got a guy like Willie. I guess Seattle might be the only other furthest place from his home in the DR that he could have gone to, and that he was committed early on in our conversations that this was a place that he wanted to be. That resonated with me, and I feel like I do a decent job of reading people, and when he told me that, that made a big impact on me and the rest of our group, and felt like this is sincere, that this guy wants to be in San Francisco and understands the opportunity and the impact that he can have not only on the ball club, but for the city itself. This is a baseball town, but this city wants great players, it wants great teams, and I was lucky to be a part of some of those great teams alongside great players. And all is well in the world when the Giants are playing good baseball on that field.
Hi, Willie. Steven Risotto, 95.7 The Game. Congratulations. Welcome to San Francisco. My question is also for Buster. You've been a part of negotiations in the past as a player, kind of as an owner. What made this first one as the president of baseball operations different, and what can you learn from this going into future deals?
I don't have a lot of experience to lean on, but I've got a lot of great people around me that do have experience, so that's the main thing. I mean, having Zach alongside me and us continuing to get to know each other and build our partnership and friendship in this thing, he's just a valuable wealth of knowledge. And you've got Jeremy Shelley and Paul B.N., Josh Zimmerman that we're having daily conversations with. That's the best way for me to answer it. Is it's not just me. There's just it's a team of people that I think share a common vision to try to field the best players we possibly can.
Willie, you were in Tampa. You had rivals, the Yankees, the Red Sox, et cetera. You're in Milwaukee, the Cubs and Cardinals, big rivals. Are you ready to comment on your feelings for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Well, I think we have to wait until we have our first series to see how it goes. But I'm really excited. I always enjoy playing, games that like that, with that kind of energy, because I think that's the best baseball right there. Because you're competing at your max level, and you just, I don't know, you just want to beat the other guy so bad that the adrenaline goes to the roof, and I think that's one of the things that I'm most excited about.
All right, this will conclude today's press conference. Willie, welcome to San Francisco.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, everybody.
everybody.